ladies and gentlemen. This is Weeknights. We're back again. I, JD, aka He Who Pods, aka Rearview Mirror.
And I'm Dash, aka Dashy D, aka the real king of R&B.
That's right.
Yep.
And you know,
What do I know?
UMG might support that statement now.
Oh, yep, because the young man, or, he's not that young, but the man's doesn't have a lawsuit anymore.
That is correct. That is correct. So for those who don't know, Drake's UMG lawsuit is over. It was dismissed. Correct. It was dismissed late last week, Thursday, October 9th. It was dismissed. And the judge had a lot to say, which I thought was really interesting.
Give it to us.
The judge said, quote, although the accusation that the plaintiff is a word I can't say on YouTube is certainly a serious one, the broader context of a heated rap battle with incendiary language and offensive accusations hurled by both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe that Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts about the plaintiff. In other words,
it's just music.
Yep. What else the judge said? The judge said, the judge said, obviously, the artwork with all of the more than dozen markers for offenders is obviously exaggerated and doctored. No reasonable person would view the image and believe that, in fact, law enforcement had designated 13 residents in Drake's home to be offenders.
The fact that was even on the chopping block is actually really funny. Like,
I think this whole shit is comedy, including the fact that Drake's... Oh, go ahead.
I was just about to say, especially because that, if nothing else, is verifiable. Like, you can look that information up. That's why that law exists, so that that the public has access to it. But I just think it's funny because, that part is like, well, like the judge said, obviously.
Right. I love that the judge said no reasonable person would think that this is legit. Meaning
no people who are not super fans of Drake. Because
right.
Let's be serious here.
Right. But Drake's not happy with this. Drake's legal team released a statement saying, quote, "We intend to appeal today's ruling, and we look forward to the Court of Appeals reviewing it."
It's like Tory's daddy, a miscarriage of justice. That will forever be my favorite line.
That's definitely your favorite. Oh, man.
Anyway, we don't have to get into it, but a miscarriage of justice. Okay.
Yep. And of course, UMG has something to say too.
Of course. UMG was thrilled, I'm sure.
Yeah.
We told
UMG
you.
says, right. That should have been the statement. We told you.
Yeah.
No, they said from the outset, this suit was an affront to all artists and their creative expression, and never should have seen the light of day. We're pleased with the court's dismissal and look forward to continuing our work, successfully promoting Drake's music and investing in his career.
Right. Listen.
A bullshit. A bullshit.
A bullshit. Listen. Listen.
A
I don't
bullshit.
have a whole lot of opinions about this. We've already spoken ad nauseum about Drake against everyone. But what I will say is, if I was Drake, I'd be worried about my contract, and by that I mean I'd be worried about who's gonna let me out of it. I just feel like they play dirty over there. Just when I say over there, I'm not speaking about a specific record label. I just mean the music industry. And they play dirty over there. I could totally see a world where he can't get out of his contract and can't put out albums. Could totally see it. Just listen, he's one of the biggest stars in the world. I'm sure he'll be fine. But I do know that in the past he has had some trouble when he wanted to get out of his contract. And there has always been speculation since the battle that that was part he was doing all of this because of his current contract and where it was at. So I don't know, but good luck to him on all his future endeavors. I hope that he gets to do everything that he wants to do, because I would be shitting bricks. I would be so afraid that these people will no longer let me do exactly what I want to do. That's just me. I don't know. I've never actually been a rapper. Well, that's because I'm the king of R&B. But so I don't know what it's like over there, you know? I just know what I know. And I mean, my contract is fine. Um, my album is coming out on the 12th. Look out for it. Um,
Holler.
but yeah, so good luck, Drake. And please make the album I keep telling you to make. If you would just listen to me, Drake, we could get somewhere. That's all for me.
Well, I think first, I love the judge saying the things that she said. I think it's great that she put it in black and white for everyone and basically said rap battles, anything goes. I appreciate that. That is now in writing for all the confused people on the internet about what is okay to say in a rap battle and what is not. When the judge has said everything, because any reasonable person will understand that it's not facts. It's just a rap battle. And so I appreciate that as a rap fan and as a fan of rap battles. That's the first thing I want to say. Second, I want to say I would not appeal this decision if I was Drake.
Yeah, I would just leave it alone.
I think at this point it's it's weird that he's even trying to appeal. I wouldn't try to appeal at this point. I mean, clearly he is not able to take a loss, right?
Mhm.
Clearly this one he's not letting go, but I think I think the appeal only makes it worse, not better. And so
Mhm.
hope he does not appeal. I know they said they're going to, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it.
Yes, I understand. I mean, I don't know. Whatever Drake wants to do, Drake is gonna do at the end of the day. I think Drake was ill advised. I said this before that he can't be making these decisions on his own. I don't believe that. I don't believe Drake is a dummy. I also think Drake has been in the industry way too long for him to just do things and not really have rhyme or reason to it. I do think he was taking a big risk by taking on UMG, but I also don't think he did it alone. So I just want to see, like, we see where this landed, but now, what does Drake's trajectory? This is a rhetorical question. What does Drake's trajectory look like now? Now that Drake against the record label has happened, there's certain things you just can't come back from. Because people will always, even if, all right, the dust settled, that went how it went, we're moving forward. It doesn't, no one forgets
Right.
what happened. So how does, how, like, what does that look like for him and his label at this point? I'm just curious. And like you said, an appeal to me would only make things more hostile, more contentious between the two parties. So, and maybe at this point it doesn't matter to him, you know? Maybe at this point it's like, this is where we're at. We're at the point of no return. And so however it goes, it goes. He doesn't really care, and that's what you have a legal team for. But, you know, curious about what's next.
Yeah, which leads me to the last part, which is UMG's statement.
Mhm.
I mean, in case it was not clear when I said a
Oh yeah.
bullshit,
Oh yeah.
I do not think they're excited to get back to promoting Drake's music
No,
and working with him for the rest of the time.
no.
And maybe they're cool with promoting older stuff, but I don't think they're about to help Drake get his new stuff to be chart topping.
Yeah. I mean, we could argue that he's making them money, right? Regardless of
Oh yeah, tons of it.
what, right. So there is an incentive to continue to have him make them money. But to what end is the question, I think. Like, we don't know what that will look like for them. And, you know, again, I've never, you know, as an R&B artist, things go a little bit differently. So I'm not really
That's
sure what
true.
it's like over there. And, you know, I wish him well. I do. Artist to artist, I wish him well.
All right, let's move on.
So Tracy Morgan has a new show coming out. I know you're pulling it up right now, but Tracy Morgan has a new show. Is it a sitcom? It's a sitcom, right?
Yes,
I think that's safe to say. Yeah. So the trailer came out. It's coming out on Paramount Plus, I believe. And keep me honest, what is it called?
I was waiting. You were talking. I didn't want to cut you off. So
Oh,
it's called Crutch.
I was trying to help my guy out. You know, you were pulling it up. I was like, well, let me start talking to the people and telling them what's going on.
Yeah, so it's called Crutch, and it starts streaming on Paramount Plus November 3rd.
Yes. Yes. Tracy Morgan's character is a dad. He's got two grown
And a
kids
grandfather.
and a grandfather. He's got two grown kids and a couple of grandkids, and they're moving in with him. Everybody moves back home. So that's essentially what this is. It looks funny. It just, we've done this before.
Yep.
We've done this before. In fact, Tia Tia Mowry, however you say it. She did that show on Netflix with Loretta Devine, I believe. It's pretty much the same concept. I think her husband on the show was a football player and he got injured or something like that. And then they were having money problems, so they moved in with the parents.
Ah,
This,
okay.
yeah, and that's a fairly recent show. Um, it's a pretty common concept, I think. I feel like we've done this several times, especially if we're talking about black sitcoms. I feel like we've done this. That's what I thought when I looked at it. I don't know if I want to see that again.
Well, let me just hit the ledge real quick and say I won't be watching this.
Okay.
Um, I don't watch most TV shows, so it's not a personal attack on Tracy Morgan. I
Okay.
won't be watching this. I don't watch most TV shows. Um, But I am very happy for Tracy Morgan. Let me be
Yeah,
clear. Uh, although this does not look
good
like
for him.
something I'm gonna watch, and I'm not gonna watch it. It's not something that's really interesting to me. Um, I am happy that Tracy Morgan is back to working regularly. You know, for a long time, we have not seen Tracy Morgan do things on a regular basis.
Yeah.
You know, from his injury, we saw a stand up here, a stand up there, a guest spot
Hmm.
here, a guest spot there. We know he's got plenty of money at this point, and that's not the problem. So I'm happy that he has found a project that he wants to truly be involved in, and
Hmm.
that is something that we're going to be able to see on a regular basis. So although this is not something I'm interested in, I'm very happy for Tracy Morgan because I understand that you can have all the money in the world and not be happy. And so the
Yeah.
fact that he's found a project that he wants to be a part of in a regular consistent way, I think speaks volumes to his level of commitment to the project and how he feels about it. And that makes me happy as a Tracy Morgan fan.
Yeah. Good for Tracy Morgan. I agree with you. I think this is a good look for him. I think it'll really hit well with the family friendly crowd. I know sometimes parents are looking for things to watch with their kids. This looks like something where it'll be very easy to do that. Um, my sister is very much like that. She's always looking for something she can have round up everybody in the living room to watch a show. So I think, you know, this is probably something that they'll watch. I notice, um, this is personal. I noticed that sitcoms don't grab me the way they used to um,
Mm.
today. So I have a hard time with all of the sitcoms. I feel like if maybe it was something that was a bit more fresh in terms of the concept, maybe I'd be more inclined to want to watch this. But it is exciting for him. I mean, I love Tracy Morgan in 30 Rock. I was obsessed with 30 Rock for a really long time. And, you know, I know he's done a bunch of other things since then. He even had his own show. I feel like it was a sitcom also, The Tracy Morgan Show. Am I making that up? Wasn't there a
No,
sitcom
that existed.
before? Yeah, before his
Yeah, there was.
accident?
He had another show.
Yeah. So listen, I'm not mad at any of it. I just, um it's just one of those things where it's like I maybe if it's on and somebody's watching it and I walk by and I'm like, "Ooh, that's that Tracy Morgan show. Let me check it out with you." You know, something like that, but I probably won't um run towards it the way I would for certain other things. But I'm happy for him.
So Charlie Sheen had a doc on Netflix a while ago, a two-part doc,
Yep.
and we watched it. I've been watched it.
All right. Don't
I
make it
ran.
seem like I watched it way long after you.
I just wanted to say I ran to this as soon as I could because I thought I got to see this.
He did not disappoint. It was a very honest take. I'm usually worried about documentaries that include people that they're about because people only want to tell you certain things or they only want to do documentaries about the good stuff. You know, it's really challenging. Even posthumous. I always feel like I say that like an asshole,
It's
but
because it's a weird word. You said it right.
yeah.
It's posthumous.
But even those types of documentaries are hard because sometimes families and friends are involved, so you're only getting and some people feel very strongly about after someone dies making sure that their legacy is a positive one even when it wasn't
Right.
completely. So I'm always nervous about those types of documentaries. So going into this, I remember us talking about it here on the pod, and I was like, it's Charlie Sheen. I feel like he's going to be honest with us, and just because of what we know about him and already, and just his candor, his candor that he has displayed previously, and he did. He was very honest there. He put it all out there, really.
Yes.
Um I was stressed. Part of the reason I didn't finish this quickly was because this was heavy. This was a very heavy doc. I love that he lived long enough to tell his story. Um and I say that in that way because he's very much aware that he's a survivor. Like he's been through some things. He's gone through a lot. A life happened to him, okay? As it often does many of us, but lots of things happened and he did a lot of things, good and bad. And a person who has been through as much as he has, some of those people don't make it
Right.
on this earth for very long.
Right.
So he's alive to tell his story, which I think is a beautiful thing. And I was just, I mean, I was like, oh, ah, hmm. It was that kind of thing. We know a lot of things that were said, we know, but also
Right.
it was just like, oh my gosh. And then watching someone say it, like being like, yeah, that's when it went left, or yeah, it's kind of crazy, or yeah, I mean, most people that I knew who were doing the same thing I did are not alive anymore. Like, this is like that. It's gritty. It's Sean Penn, isn't it? They're very good friends, apparently. um, Chris Tucker is in it. Denise Richards, Heidi Fleiss. I'm forgetting some people. How could we forget? Well, um, Martin Sheen chose not to be in it, but that's his daddy.
Right. And
Um,
so did his brother.
and so did his brother.
Well, one of
They
the
still
brothers.
One of the brothers. He has two brothers, but they very much still had a presence in the doc, and I think that they were well represented and well respected.
Yes.
Um, you could tell he has a lot of love and respect for his family, and that definitely showed. And I also loved. I don't remember all these things about Martin Sheen, like coming out and talking about Charlie Sheen when we were probably too young anyway, but all of the only thing I think of when I think Martin Sheen is The West Wing. So to He's done other things, I know, but that for me, that is my frame of reference. I always think whenever I think of Martin Sheen, that's what I think about. I think about his character on The West Wing. So to see him portrayed as a father was also interesting to me. I'm blabbering on. Please jump in and say something.
No, get your shit off. Come on.
Yeah, I just thought that was really cool to watch. And also just their dynamic and how he knew that his son had problems, but he was still very much like, okay, we got to get you together. Like, I respected that very much. A lot of people don't have the stamina or the bandwidth for
I think it
everything that
helped.
happened.
Yeah, I agree, and I think it helped that he dealt with a similar battle himself, right? And so because that's kind of how the doc starts. It starts with him talking about his dad and his struggles and how
Hmm.
he kind of helped his dad, right? He tells that story about playing catch and how
Hmm.
his dad kind of like couldn't even really function at first as a human. And as
Yeah.
his recovered more, it became a better thing. And he said his dad credits him for helping him get through his own recovery. And I think that is what plays a pivotal role in when
Mm-hmm.
it's time to do the opposite, right? When it's time for me to now help you with your recovery, I'm sure that
Yeah.
his dad remembered that and was like, all right, I got to do what I can for my son now. I also see why Charlie Sheen in the early days was upset with his dad when he made like the press conference and did certain things, the same things you're referencing that we
Mm-hmm.
were probably too young to remember. And um, I got to be honest, I didn't know that in his early days he was seen as this bad boy party guy. And like even in the interviews from the early '90s, they're like, "Are you good? Or is everything okay?" And he's like, he's like, "Yeah, I've got it under control. I'm all right."
That's actually exactly what I know of him. I don't know how I know
I didn't
that.
know that.
I think that was just his reputation. So,
I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Yeah. So that was new to me. I'm like, I know later on, we know what happened later on, but in those early, I'm like, man, even in the '90s, you was on that type of shit. I didn't
yeah.
know. I didn't know. And man, that one of the things I took away was while we're on the addiction piece,
Mhm.
what a smart fucking move to tell the waitresses to put the wine in a coffee mug. That was
Yeah.
genius.
Yeah.
I said, wow, this guy is a genius.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who would have thought to do that?
I mean, alcoholics find ways. But yes.
Clearly.
It's,
Clearly.
I didn't want to be disrespectful, but I was like, where there's a will, where
There's a
there's a
way.
will, you will figure out, you will figure it
Wow.
out.
When he
You
said that,
know.
I was like, well, what's in his mug right now, though? Because he was sipping a coffee mug during the interview. I'm like, is there wine in there?
Well, he says he's sober. He's been sober for what is it, 8 years? He said,
Yeah,
yeah.
he's been
So
sober for a while.
yeah, which I mean, he looks like he's aged, but he looks pretty good
He looks
considering
all right. Yeah,
everything he's been
he
through.
does.
Yeah, he's doing okay. You know.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah,
do have one criticism. Oh, go ahead.
okay. No, I was just gonna say I don't have too much more to say. I feel like I rambled on about a bunch of different things, but my takeaway here is definitely, if it doesn't matter if you like Charlie Sheen or not, or like Two and a Half Men or any of his movies or anything else that he did. It's just a really fascinating story to watch. So I
Yeah.
would highly recommend it.
Yeah, same. No, it was great. I'd watch it again. Even though it
Yeah.
was 3 hours in total, I'd watch the 3 hours again.
Yeah.
Um, my one criticism is when Charlie Sheen was wilding out on the internet, the winning phase, let's call it. I felt like that part of the doc was kind of run through. I felt like they told us stuff, but I feel like if you weren't alive, like we were around, so we know.
We were, yeah.
But
Yeah.
I feel like let's say if my daughter watched this doc in 5 years when she's
She
20,
wouldn't know the full extent.
she wouldn't know the full extent. She wouldn't really understand the depth of how crazy all of that was. I feel like
Mhm.
they kind of like ran real quick through that part. And I think that is my only criticism of the doc because I'm like, yeah, all of that is true. And it's good that you showed us the footage of him in his uh in his crib and on the tour and
Mhm.
things like that. But it was like a really condensed short piece of the doc.
Yeah.
And I feel like if this was the big downfall, quote unquote, then the big downfall needed more time. And maybe they did that because in their eyes, half of this doc was about his downfall. But I feel like
Yeah.
I don't think they did justice to that part. Um,
I
that's my only
think
criticism.
I can understand that. I do think that they probably looked at it as this is a piece of a larger thing that
Picture.
was happening over time. Um,
Hmm.
but I also feel like perhaps they didn't want to. They make a point to show or say that he was spiraling and people were eating it up. People were glorifying what he was doing.
Mhm.
I kind of feel like the reason why they didn't make it such a huge focal point is because, and they say it too, sort of, they say that, the internet, the people on the internet were basically encouraging him and excited about what he was doing and, you know, adding fuel to the fire.
Yeah.
I think maybe the reason why they made it smaller, eh, I don't think they were trying to make it smaller, but the reason why they treated it just like every other thing was because it wasn't good, right? Like the way the world saw it versus the way it was happening was completely different. I think that if they would have made more of made it louder what was going on, I think it makes it look like he was doing something good. And it makes it look like, because again, people were glorified, and they do say that. Again, they show people like um outside and gathering over all of this stuff and whatever. And I remember you couldn't go anywhere or talk to anyone without someone yelling out winning when that whole thing was going on. It was like a huge buzzword on the internet because of Charlie Sheen. I think
Yeah.
that I think that part of this was to redefine what happened then, because the way that
Mhm.
the world saw it was like it was a joke, which, sure, he was making an ass of himself publicly. So, yeah, it looked like a joke. But to him, to his family, to everyone around him, to everyone who wasn't a part of that internet craze, it was actually serious. And I wonder if maybe they were very intentional about not emphasizing everything that the public was doing or reacting to, because then it kind of emphasizes something that wasn't actually real. Like what was real to the public wasn't real to him and his family's reality.
Right. And they
That's my guess.
showed the pieces that were real to him. They showed him losing it. They
Mhm.
showed how his one real friend, which I would love to highlight, his one real
Yeah.
friend was there and speaking about the experience. So they showed him melting down on stage and how he was so
Mhm.
high he couldn't get through the show for the tour.
Mhm.
But I just think they tried to like minimize what really happened in a sense. This was a
Mhm.
huge phenomenon, and I feel like
Yeah.
if we could
It
get the
was.
detailed story of him getting off the plane and having an 8 ball of cocaine strapped to his ankle and how he was able to wave that off because him and Nicolas Cage were so famous, then we could have got more details here. That's my
Yeah,
only
I can see
criticism.
that. Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah. And the last thing, well, I want to highlight the best friend. That's a real nigga. That is a
He was a good
real
friend.
friend
He
right
is a good
there.
friend.
That That
That's a
guy
friend.
has been with Charlie Sheen since they were kids, and he kept it real. And throughout the doc, he was like, I tried to tell him, yeah, I don't know, I wasn't really around for this, but I heard the stuff, and I was concerned, and that's a real friend. And I love that they included him, and I love that he kept it real. That's a real friend. And I think that deserves a big shout out because most of us don't have that kind of friend, and everybody needs that kind of friend.
Yeah.
So I think that is worth highlighting here. The other thing I think is worth highlighting is I don't know why they let his baby mama be high on the camera. I didn't think that was good. She was clearly high,
Isn't it his ex-wife?
and yes,
Okay.
yes, it is his ex-wife. hmm
Okay,
she's high,
you
and he
you were
says it.
very. Oh, okay.
He does say like her journey is different than mine, and
He did.
we're in different parts of our journey. He said it in a nice way, but that lady was high.
Oh, she was. I knew she was high from the moment they start. Well, she started speaking. I was like, But are you still on the
She was hot.
drugs? That was exactly what
Yes.
I said to myself. I was like, is this lady still on drugs? And sure enough,
Yes.
they confirmed that. But yeah, I understand. It's gratuitous to have her on
And
there.
holy shit, the madam, wow, what a fall.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I look busted on camera right now, but man, she was
Hey,
looking
Slice.
crazy with all the birds. God damn. She went
Yeah.
from the whore lady to the bird lady.
You? Why did you say like?
She did. She had all the whores and now she has all the birds. She traded in her birds.
All right. Is there more you have to say about that, or is this it?
That's fine. We can end it here.
Oh, if you have more to say, please share.
That was a big shock to me that she was like this fly madam and all this cool stuff was happening, and now fast forward, there she's just with like a bird lady, like,
I think she had
and
even
she
done
looked
reality
fucked up.
television.
She looked like she need to do something. She looks fucked up.
Remember when they used to do you remember the Surreal Life?
I do.
I think she was on that. I think.
Yeah,
Don't.
I felt bad for her, to be honest.
Yeah. It was a
I
hard
did.
fall from
I feel
grace.
bad for her. As soon as they showed all the birds, I was like, "Who the hell is this?" And then as they told her story, I was like, "Damn, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
fucked up." And I understand why she's upset with Charlie Sheen still today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
All right. I guess we can end it.
you sure?
Yeah, I just
You keep
think
saying you guess like you're not sure. It's okay if you're not ready to. If you have more to say, I'm not trying to shut you down. Please.
no, we've been potting for a minute, and also I'm just trying to think what else is worth noting. I mean, he had all these amazing Hollywood relationships, but I mean, the doc highlights them. Um,
Yeah.
and
Denise.
so
Him and Denise were hot and heavy for a while.
Charlie Sheen is absolutely the type of person you hear about on television, where he gets into a situation ship, quickly turns into a marriage, and quickly falls apart. Now, I do want to say one thing about Charlie Sheen and the women in his life.
Mm-hmm.
Charlie Sheen and the women in his life have somehow held it together as a family unit all these years, and
Yeah.
clearly still are doing so.
Mm-hmm.
And I can appreciate that because at one point, Charlie Sheen was high as hell, and his ex wife was coming over to take care of him and the whores. She
Denise.
was
Yep.
like, I was making him a sandwich, and a prostitute came downstairs. It was like, "Oh, are we getting sandwiches?" She's like, "I guess, bitch. You want a sandwich too? Fine."
Yeah.
That's not what ex-wives do by default.
No.
So the
She's
fact that
just
he's
trying to
been
keep him
able
relaxed.
to maintain this family unit, exactly, yeah, and the fact that they've been able to all maintain this weird, somehow together relationship of a family unit, I think is amazing that they're able to do that with all the drugs and all the controversy and all the different households
Mhm.
and all the things, as you would say.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty
Yeah, I think that has to be
fascinating,
highlighted.
really. Did you say?
I said I think it has to be highlighted. I agree with you. Fascinating, yes.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Well, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I would have been making that sandwich, but I respect that she did it. Yeah. Also, you
Yeah.
don't.
And
I
it's clear
think
she
it's
still
very
loves Charlie.
easy. Yes, and I mean it's hard. I'm sure when you were in love with someone and then you had children with them, I'm sure it's very, those two things have a connection. While they might not be one in the same, they might not be always interconnected. They let me say this in a better way. I think that those things have an effect on you and the way you see someone. So I could totally see how Denise loved him as much as she did when they first started out, when they first met and they got together and they got married and then they had these children, and that kind of multiplies all of that, right? And then to have it fall apart the way it did is devastating. But you still have love, like just being in a relationship with someone that you really deeply cared for, you still have love for them coming out of that. But to then have all of these things happen and you know that he's unwell, and it's, not only is it heavy, but I'm sure, yeah, she's like, I still love this person, I want him to love himself, you know. um so
Yeah.
and that is not, listen, everybody doesn't go about life that way, and everybody doesn't um have all of that love to give, especially when someone has hurt you. So I don't know, I don't, I try not to judge people. I don't, I'm sure there will be some people who will watch that and be like, what's wrong with her or whatever. But honestly, like, it's even like the sandwich thing, it's like, let me keep this man alive, because it will not only be devastating to me, but it will be devastating to our children. I think that there is
Right.
a lot of that in there, and I find it very hard to judge her for that. So, but wow, because you just try to put yourself in other people's shoes sometimes and be like, what I should I,
Right.
how could I, and it's kind of hard to grasp.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying I fully understand it. I'm just saying, like, that's a lot, and I could see why, like, all of that, you could be in a place where you're like, well, we clearly cannot be together, but I still have a lot of love for this person, especially if you are of the belief that this is that addiction is a sickness. Then you will find your compassion for that person. So, oh, I don't
Yeah. I mean, she was taking care of his other kids at one point.
know. Those are her kids' siblings.
Fine.
Yeah. And a
But
lot
let's
of
be
people
honest.
will walk away.
But most
And
people don't give a fuck about that. Right.
yeah, a lot of people will walk away. A lot of people will be like, I can't do this. A lot of people without the kids, if there were no kids, a lot of people would still be like, I cannot, no, no, this is too
Right.
much. So I get
Yeah.
it. And I get that it's complicated, and I mean, we may know, I know Denise outside of this. I may judge her for those things. She was on Real Housewives for a while, so she didn't really talk much about her ex-husband. Then she was married at the time, but it's another man. But I'll judge her for those things. But this, I'm just like, man, that just like sucks all around. Like, even hearing his daughter talk about just like trying to navigate their relationship, but not really having a relationship with him, and then him making the decision to finally get his life together, and them talking about how much they love just being with him and being able to call him and talk to him about whatever. And some people don't get the chance. That's why I keep saying it's incredible that he is alive and able to tell his story, and also able to still be there for his fam, or now be there for his family in a way that he couldn't before. Hmm. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
We did it.
yeah, we did.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this has been Weeknights. Thank you for being here. We'll see y'all tomorrow.
Bye.